got to get into now. Let me just lower this and get back to topic number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, now look, there has been some talk in the chat about believing certain people in the industry with when it comes to grain of salt rumors. This Detective Seeds has been at the center of this. Now, Detective Seeds, if you don't know who he is a fine member of the gaming community. Now, I understand a lot of people don't like the guy because maybe he's too earnest. And more importantly, he's a PlayStation guy. And you know what? That's okay. Him and I do not agree on a lot of things, but I still think the same way he says about me, I think he's an excellent part of this community. And obviously, he was one of the first people to talk about the Oblivion leak. Now, I have it, folks, and I want this to be clear. I can corroborate exactly what Detective Seeves has said publicly. You know why that is? Because I spoke to 2 people who know not only what is happening, but can, again, corroborate what Seeds is saying. Now, I don't know if it's the same connection that he has. He has a lot of connections, especially when it comes to Sony. But I have a few inside sources as well for Microsoft. And again, for most of the stuff that I get, I don't talk about because it's not for me to talk about. I'm not a scooper. I'm not an insider. I'm a podcaster. But when there's a particular subject that I get excited about and I'm given permission to discuss, well, I talk about it. And Oblivion Remake is one of them. I've been talking about this for weeks. I've done videos on it. I've done podcasts surrounding it. It is happening. And the rumor is that obviously it's releasing. Now, I don't know, even Detective Seeds, he said himself, he originally thought it was going to release last week, did reiterate that could be happening in the next 2 weeks. I have heard that it could come as soon as this week. That is what my source is telling me. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know. But I can say, and I want this to be perfectly clear, you have to understand by putting ourselves out here, right? We don't have to do that for anyone, but we do it for the community because we love gaming and we love the excitement that these kind of leaks bring to the podcasts and to the engagement as well as the conversation with the community. It's fun. And that's why we always say, take it with a grain of salt. You've never heard me say, lock it in, such and such is happening. Because nothing is stuck in glue. Things can change. Just like there was supposed to be a reveal at GDC with the new Xbox Asus handheld. Well, that got pulled. And I had a lot of people adding me, oh, see, Boom was wrong again. Well, my source told me that it was going to be there and it wasn't. Oh, okay. That these things happen. Sue me. What can I tell you? But I do have a story here from InsiderGaming.com. It was written by Grant Taylor Hill, posted, ladies and gentlemen, on April 6th. And it says this: Oblivion Remake could be released tomorrow, it's claimed. Update again. Now, of course, I want to just get into it. Now, the update on 4.4, obviously, it wasn't released, which is originally what we thought was going to happen. Well, they have an update here for 4.5 and for 4.6. Of course, that's April 5th and April 6th for anyone that wants it explained. It goes on to say, Fuzzy, it still hasn't been released, but an update has been made to Oblivion's Game of the Year edition on Steam, with Bethesda Game Studios having removed all of its trailers related to the game. This is a common step before a remaster or a remake is revealed and the trailers are replaced. You heard that live here, folks. That is standard fare. But here is another update from 4.6. It goes on to say this: the insider who made the original claim has owned an initial timeline slip claiming that multiple sources have now corroborated a release window starting the week of April 21st. It has been claimed that the Oblivion Remake will be released after the ESO anniversary event ends. The insider has claimed they're highly confident about this claim. Now, again, folks, this is all take a grain with salt, but let's just be clear here. It was originally presented as a shadow drop. Now, some people in the chat, we don't do the names here, so they're entitled to their opinion, didn't think that it made sense for a shadow drop. And okay, if that's fine if you believe so. But Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was a shadow drop. Yes, that was after an event, but it was still a shadow drop nonetheless. Now, according to update on 4.6, it's saying that there is going to be an ESO, which of course is Elder Scrolls Online anniversary event. That makes perfect sense. So if I was a betting kind of a guy, that I would say that at the end or even during some point at that event, they're going to announce and then shadow drop the Oblivion remake, which is explained to be a full from the ground up remake in Unreal Engine 5, the same way that happened with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. So, Fuzzy, we got to get into this. This is big. I've said this before. I will say it again. Oblivion is my favorite RPG of all freaking time. I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours playing this game, who got turned into a vampire and could not figure out how to unvampire myself. And, of course, that particular game is one of the most infamous games of the Xbox 360 era because it introduced horse armor, which I bought right here. I'm part of the problem. I probably have ruined the world by buying that horse armor the second it became available. They got my $5. And I know you're laughing there, Fuzzy. I'm not looking at the screen, but I know you're laughing. Yes, folks, I'm a part of the problem. This is exciting because this comes on the heels of a year where RPGs seem to be reigning supreme. Avowed is going to be in the Game of the Year conversation when we get to that part of 2025. It is an outstanding tale. Okay, you have the Outer Worlds, one that you're very much looking forward to. The Outer Worlds 2 is going to be amazing. And again, if you just look at what they did from Outer Worlds 1 to what they're eventually going to do with Outer Worlds 2, it is going to be a massive step up, right?
Yeah.
And now you have the OG of them all, Oblivion, getting remade from the ground up, Unreal Engine 5. Brother, we got to talk about this. Again, it makes sense that the quote-unquote shadow drop happens on the 21st. I heard that it could come as soon as this week. Take that with a grain of salt, folks. But now, reading this update live on the air, it makes sense that they kind of hold that and they wait for the ESO event. That seems like almost a lock, in my opinion. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the update or the reboot basically looks like in Unreal Engine 5. Like that, I think is the biggest takeaway. Like taking a beloved game and then updating the visuals on a game that's more than 5 years old. No shade, not really anyway. but yeah.
But it makes sense. Again, the game's how old? Can anyone actually tell me? What is it? 15 years old? I mean, it's old.
Up there. Yeah. So it unlike some other areas where remakes are less than 5 years old, it's nice to see that this one, like I said, a beloved IP gets a refresh or a new coat of paint in Unreal Engine 5. I want to see what these visuals look like. Like we've seen some of the fan made stuff in other Bethesda games. So seeing this one from them and it being something that's day and date and Game Pass for those that at least want to give it a try, see what a modern looking Oblivion would look like. Yeah, I hope like if they save it for the ESO event, that probably makes the most sense. But it's hard to say with Xbox these days, just for the fact that they could make it a Twitter announcement kind of thing, and I don't think people would bat an eye as far as like they would just be like, wow, another game, because it seems like every week there's something that they wind up adding to Game Pass, whether it's a nice third party first day and date type of deal, or it's a like a major update to a first party title, or it's one of their first party titles that we've been looking forward to, or even third party titles that we've been looking forward to. Like this month has already been pretty packed, and it's going to wind up being more so that before this month is out and leading into May, and you have the June showcase right around the corner. Yeah, I could definitely see them either doing a Twitter announcement this week or saving it for the ESO deal. I know that there's supposed to be some sort of partnered event at some point. I think that's where we hear about Square Enix. So the whole Square Enix thing is still looming in the near future as well. But Oblivion, Unreal Engine 5, in an ESO event, or just Twitter, hey, it's in Game Pass, check it out. I think it's I won't say it's going to overwhelm gamers, but there's going to be quite a few people that are RPG fans that are definitely going to want to dive into that and see what the new coat of paint looks like. And hopefully that kind of holds them over until Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. But we'll see if that's able to be that gap in between. But for the most part, looking forward to this, as well as another collection or remake that we are hearing in the background. Will probably be released at some point this year, or switch spots with E-Day type of deal. But yeah, Xbox is definitely cooking this year. Like, if anybody had any doubt as far as them having games, you should have lost that doubt before the end of January, to be honest. But yeah, it's great to hear that some where there's smoke there's fire, and removing stuff as far as some of the pages and things like that. Typically what they do before an update makes total sense. And that's, if anything, I would say that's probably the biggest sign moving forward. So, yeah.
Again, folks, this is take it with a grain of salt. But I can corroborate what Detective C's said. Again, maybe this week, maybe it's ESO, but Fuzzy's onto something. Xbox literally has so much cooking, and they have so many games releasing this year that they could, on a Twitter post, like an Xbox Wire post, hey, available today. Now, I know somebody said something in here. Where is it? What was it? Was it one terrible? It was a funny one. Somebody actually had said that they should delay it, like the PS3 version. Remember, the PS3 version was delayed. This will probably come out. And because ESO is available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox, Series X and S, it's probably going to be a universal release. And it makes sense because they're going to want to make money on this. I don't know how much they spent, but it's probably a pretty penny if you consider that it's not a remaster. It is literally, at least has the rumor explained as a from the ground up Unreal Engine 5 release. That's what they did with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, right? We saw how that turned out. It was gorgeous, right? Ran really good. That's what they're supposedly doing with Gears of War, the Marcus Phoenix collection, or the trilogy, however you want to put it. I mean, this is just another game that could be released this year. That's not something that we already know. We already know that they have a ton of stuff coming out, and it's going to be a banger of a year for Xbox. And again, it just, every year they go by, and I don't know, your mileage is going to vary. What they did in 23 versus the other guys, and what they did in 24 versus the other guys. I thought they had a great 23, a great 24. They're going to have a massive 2025, and Fuzzy, 2026 looks to be redonkulous. I mean, it's just, again, we're going to see. What I'm hoping for, honestly, from this is, I know we all want the Elder Scrolls 6, and I can't wait for them to get working on it. But I'm going to be honest, if this Oblivion, as good as they are suggesting that it's going to be, I would love for them to take Skyrim and do the same thing. Like, I know that people are like, no, Boom, don't do it. I get it. And I don't think it's the same team working on it. I think they probably outsourced it. And if they did, if this winds up being as amazing as I think, and pray to the gaming gods that it's going to be, I freaking hope that they would do this with Skyrim. That would be freaking amazing.